to welcome our first attendees for today's webinar, the topic of which is quite wide and broad. So the umbrella topic for today is studying sociology, cultural studies, and international relations in Germany. My name is Georgi. The least interesting person for you today, I would say. We have much more interesting people joining us today. So it's a subject webinar. That's why we have guests from German universities with their specific study programs who will introduce them to you. And you have, dear attendees, a unique opportunity to ask your questions directly to our guests, to the representatives of your potential study places in the future, and get the best possible answers because they are the best informed people, of course, when it comes to these study programs. Dear attendees, if you don't know how the webinar setting works in Zoom, it's not difficult. The main button for you is the Q&A button. So please use the Q&A button whenever you have a question, type it in, and we will get to your question as soon as possible, either in written form or live. So we will have 4 presentations today. Each presentation will be 15 minutes, and then we'll have around 15 minutes of a live Q&A session where your questions will be addressed directly by our guests. Also, take a look and keep an eye on the chat because there will be sending some interesting information for you as well. Let me start with agenda quickly. So we will start with our guest from 𝘱𝘢𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘴𝘪𝘯𝘨. 𝘚𝘪𝘕 will present program in a Master of Science level program in social protection. Then we'll move to University of Hamburg, and it's Dr. Anne Menzel, and she will talk about MA level program in peace and security studies. We are moving then to Friedensau, 𝘗𝘀𝘪𝘥𝘪 Hochschule Friedensau, and we have, you can see now, Professor Dr. Ulrike Schulz, and she will talk about Master of Arts level program in development studies, and we will close the show with Willy Brandt School of Public Policy at University of Erfurt, Florian Heinze, and he will talk about public policy master's program. All right, so long story short, let us move to our guests. To 𝘱𝘱𝘢𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘴𝘪𝘯𝘥 Darlene Kolbe now. She will present the study program, and you can see also on the map where the school is located. I will stop my screen share right now and invite our guest to take the floor. Please.
Many thanks, Georgie. I'm just going to share my screen, and if you can just give me a very quick notice if this works, that'd be awesome.
Perfect. Works fine.
All right. So hi, everyone. I'm super excited to be presenting our master's program in social protection today. It's probably quite related to all of the other study programs that you're going to hear. So I'm just going to take the first floor for today. I'm going to start with a quick introduction of the team, talk about what is social protection, just very briefly, give an overview of the program, the most important part of this presentation, and then let you know everything that you need to know about the application process and the next steps for when you plan to apply. For the team, we're currently quite a small team. So we have the head of the program on the top left, which is Professor Dr. Simona Helmsmüller. She's the professor for economics of social protection at our department, and the program head, as you can see. Generally, we do have Professor Dr. Esther Schüring on board as well for international social protection systems. But as you can see on the top right, she's currently on leave and replaced by a guest professor from Zambia, Professor Dr. Masasu Chiwa. He's basically taken over all the courses, also supervises master thesis, etc. So a perfect replacement and a great insight from the African region. Then we have Brian Matebula, Abdelrahman Fatoum, and myself as research assistants and study program coordinators. Brian and myself, we've actually also done the program ourselves, so we know what you are about to encounter and can answer most of your questions, if not all of them. We also have 1 working student. Usually it's 2 to 3 working students. At the moment, it's 1. So we also sometimes have opportunities to come join our team and support us with some research-related tasks. Moving on to what is social protection. Some of you may not have heard of the term social protection, so just very briefly, whoever is interested in this, I definitely recommend checking out the Handbook on Social Protection Systems. It's been written by Professor Dr. Esther Schüring and Markus Löwe, who are both professors at our university. And it gives an overview of social protection systems, basically. Most importantly, though, I brought the definition, which is not so clear-cut, but this is the working definition that we also use. It is from the International Labour Organization. And I want you to specifically have a look at the second part here. First here. It's a set of policies and programs designed to reduce and prevent poverty and vulnerability throughout the life cycle. And the life cycle here is very important. As you can see, it includes benefits for children and families, maternity, unemployment, employment injury, sickness, old age, disability, etc. Also health, according to some definitions. Basically, you do have social insurances, which is contributory part of social protection, and tax finance benefits, the non-contributory part. You're going to learn about all of this if you join a program, but just to know what social protection actually is and what you're going to learn about. Moving to the overview of the program, first of all, Georgie has showed you on the map where we're located. It's actually in the western part of Germany, in between the cities of Cologne and Bonn. So it's quite a vibrant region where we have many internationally renowned institutions, also UN organizations like the UNFCCC or other organizations related to sustainability. It's only a stone's throw away from the cultural hubs of Cologne and Bonn, so you have many activities, also extracurricular free time activities as well. And many international students actually in the whole of North Rhine-Westphalia. HBRS, on the other hand, stands for Hochschule Bonn-Rhein-Sieg, so the name of our university. It's quite a new university, so all the facilities are also quite new. What we do offer, and I suppose all the other universities as well, is access to a free library and many resources, free language courses, and also student activities. It is the 2 years master's program, and the instruction language is English. What is quite unique about the program, I think, is that the teaching method is very interactive. It is mainly based on students preparing papers and inputs up front, coming to class for group discussions. So it's a so-called flipped classroom design. Also, the exam formats are not the typical sit-in exams, but it's mostly papers that you write. It's portfolio exams where it's a mix of presentations and tests and written outputs. Other than that, we have many extracurricular activities, including brown bag lunches, where we invite practitioners to speak about current research insights and also practical insights, best practices, etc. And we also collaborate with many of them for teaching and research opportunities for your master thesis, but also for your internship, the practical term. A very big component of our studies is group work. So you work in small groups of 45 people. And because all of our students are from different regions of the world, usually it's like 1 or 2 from each country, not more. So it's quite diverse, and only 1 or 2 are also from Germany. So it's actually really international. And we think that the group work actually benefits you a lot in exchanging with your peers and working together with the different insights and knowledge that we have. As you can see here, we've had students from pretty much all across the globe, besides for the Oceania region, I think. So Australia, New Zealand, we didn't have any students, but for the most part, we have students from there, so we can also connect you in case you need somebody to talk to from your country. The key competences we try to bring across networking, communication, and problem solving skills above all. But then obviously you're going to learn about how the choice of instruments, financing arrangements, institutional arrangements, management choices, and also evaluation and monitoring is going to affect the effectiveness of social protection systems. How do we do that? We start with an online and on-campus pre-course in economics and statistics. You're also going to get resources on academic writing before you move on to your first semester. So those pre-courses, they are actually 2 weeks on campus even before the semester starts. And then there's also a 1-week introduction of the university facilities and the coordination team. Then for the first semester, we meet on campus for a comparative analysis of social protection systems, foundational skills like statistics, demography, poverty and risk analysis, and then move on to social policy instruments and the more quantitative methods, so econometrics, financing mathematics, and also evaluation. Then the second semester, and I think this is quite unique, is completely online. So most of our students stay in the Bonn region, but you're also free to move back to your home countries or whatever country you want to work or live in. So there you're going to learn about financing of social protection, groups in focus, those are our electives, so you can specialize on one specific group that you want to learn more about in terms of social protection, their needs and possibilities to cover them. Then social protection management and social protection reforms, which concludes with a reform project, which is interdisciplinary and connects all the dots. The electives actually are elderly, children, migrants, families, people with disabilities, and the working population. And as you can see, you can really specialize in one of those groups. For the online semester, which goes from March to August, you're going to receive literature upfront, video messages, and also exercises. And this is just a snippet from our online learning system, just to demonstrate you how this is done and also how we upload things. I mean, if you join the program, you're going to see this quite many times. The third semester is actually a dedicated practical term, so you can do an internship with some of the institutions that will work together, or an organization that you choose by yourself. Those are just a few examples of organizations where our previous students have done their internships. Those range from UN institutions to other development organizations and banks, to NGOs, and also smaller think tanks. The fourth semester then is a master thesis semester, which is accompanied by research methods course and also a colloquium that guides you throughout writing your master thesis. Some of the extracurricular activities that we did in the past were on the top left. This is part of our introduction week. Those are only part of our students that have mingled for this picture, but I guess what is similar across all photos is the mix of nationalities, which is quite unique. Then on the bottom left is a Christmas party, a small one. In the middle, on top, is a brown bag lunch seminar. And at the bottom is our Brussels excursion, which we do every year to meet EU institutions, a city tour on the top right, and just a student-organized picnic in the park on the bottom right. There are quite a few funding opportunities. Per year, we have approximately 8 to 10 fully funded scholarship opportunities provided by the German Academic Exchange Service, DAAD, as part of the 𝘗𝘢𝘕 program. There's more information on this on the website and also a separate information session. So if you're interested in that, definitely check it out. Some of our students, most of our students actually do have part-time jobs, or they receive smaller scholarships from church organizations, other NGOs, political foundations, etc. Those are just a few to mention. Very important admission requirements. Before I wrap this up, you need to have a bachelor's degree in a relevant field of study, 5 months of relevant work experience. Here we also count internships, unpaid and voluntary work, but it cannot be administrative in nature. So we do look out for that you have actually gained programmatic insights into social protection programs or systems. You need to have a C1 level of English proficiency, either proven by a previous study in English language or a language test. Also more information on this on the website. The last thing we do is have you write a research proposal on a topic. This is to test your academic writing skills, but also the ability to identify a topic within the sphere of social protection. There are application guidelines on the website, so I'm not going to talk about this in too much detail. Just check it out if you're interested. Just Google HBRS social protection and you're definitely going to find it. Then about the application process, we moved it to a bit earlier. So now we're at the virtual open day. The first application deadline is quite close. It's February 28th for non-EU students. And for EU students, it's May 31st. This is because we want to give you some time to actually be able to process your visa application and prepare your stay in Germany. Admissions are given out between December, so it's already ongoing, up until June the latest, but we try to do this on a rolling basis to give you clarity on whether you've been accepted or not. Then in September, you ideally arrive in Germany for the precursors and welcome week. And in September, late September, we start with the semester. If you want more information, our website has quite a lot of information, same as our LinkedIn page. It's not linked here, but you can definitely find it if you go on LinkedIn and search for Social Protection HBRS. If you have any more questions, definitely feel free to type them in the chat. My colleague and I will try to answer it on the go, but also in the Q&A that comes after all the presentations. And the website is linked again. With that, I think I stayed within the 15 minutes, Georgie, and I'm going to stop sharing my presentation.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Darlene, for perfect time management and even better presentation. It was very informative. Thanks a lot. And with that, let us move now to our next speakers. So let us move to the north of Germany, to University of Hamburg. And Dr. Menzel is with us, and she will present to you the study program, Master of Arts level study program in Peace and Security Studies. So the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I actually don't see myself on the screen, but yeah, here I am. Okay, here I am. Fantastic. So great to be here and to have the opportunity to introduce our master's program, Peace and Security Studies. My name is Anne Menzel. I'm the academic coordinator of the master's program and also a senior researcher here at IFSH. And IFSH, I should say, stands for the Institute for Peace Research and Security Policy at the University of Hamburg. And I actually don't have a presentation. I'll show you some documents later, but in case you want to put me on the big screen, that's also okay. And I should say right from the start that the program is offered by IFSH in cooperation with a number of partner institutions. Most prominently, the Faculty of Economics and Social Sciences at the University of Hamburg, the History Department of the University of Hamburg, a couple of other departments and faculties at the University of Hamburg, also the Mathematics and Informatics and Natural Science faculty, but also non-university partners such as the Institute for Theology and Peace, also here in Hamburg, the Bundeswehr Command and Staff College here in Hamburg, but also quite a number of institutions beyond Hamburg, such as, for example, the 𝘱𝘢𝘳𝘁 Foundation in Berlin. And you will find a list of all our partners on our website, which I will show you at the very end of my presentation. Okay, not the list itself, but our website. Okay. So I want to begin by telling you a little bit about what makes our program special and different when compared to other programs in the field. And when I say the field, I mean the field that is usually described or summarized as peace and conflict studies. That is the more usual denomination that you see, and we are a little bit different. Then in the next step, I'm going to show you our semester program for the upcoming summer semester, so that you can get an idea of sort of what awaits you if you decide to apply and get accepted to our program, the kind of seminars you can enjoy, and the exercises, excursions, and so on. Then in the next step, I want to briefly go through our study program with you so that you can get an idea about the workload and the whole process, and then finally go through our application process, which actually starts today. So the application process opens today, it closes on 31st of March. And this was just coincidence that the date is actually today. Great. So what is it that makes our master's program, Peace and Security Studies, different and special? Well, it's already in the title in a way. It combines a focus on security studies with peace studies perspectives. This means that you can have a seminar on sort of traditionally hard security issues such as arms control, which is very much actual and in the news at the moment, alongside seminars on sort of critical security studies topics concerning, for example, borders, critical perspectives on borders and migration and stuff like that, and normative foundations of peace research. So you can have both, and actually you will have to engage with both perspectives. It's not possible to get through the study program without encountering and working through these different perspectives. It's just not in there. You can already see this a little bit in our semester program for the next year, which I'm going to show you right. Okay, so as you can see, you have seminars such as quantitative security studies and foreign policy analysis of global security challenges, alongside an advanced seminar on die Ethik und das Böse. And I left this title in German because actually German proficiency is a requirement for our program. So we have both seminars in English and in German. And unfortunately, this means that we require C1 level proficiency in German and English to study our program. So, but for those of you who do not speak German, who are still interested, so die Ethik und das Böse, for example, would be a seminar that looks normatively on sort of ethical behavior and evil in international politics and beyond, right? We also have a seminar on current topics of peace and security research. This is a research seminar where you learn a lot about research design and which already prepares you for your master thesis, for example. We also usually have group meetings every semester, sometimes even during the semester break. Group meetings are something that I usually chair. It means that I get together with students and we discuss issues that are of interest to all students. For example, most recently, we had a session on how do I find a supervisor for my master thesis and stuff like that. They're not mandatory, you just show up if you want to. And it's just a way to keep in touch with the students and know what's going on and where difficulties lie and what works well also, right? We also have a weekly research colloquium, which is also not mandatory for students, but it's a great opportunity because we have over 100 researchers at IFSH, and some of them teach, like, for example, 𝘗𝘪𝘥𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘴𝘪𝘶, who's teaching the quantitative security studies seminar as a researcher with us. But not all of them, because they're really busy with their research, but sometimes we have them presenting their research in this research colloquium, which then gives students an opportunity to learn more about really ongoing research. And also we have guests in our research colloquium from outside, guests who work on topics that we find are super important for our institute, and students are also always welcome to attend. But these are not all our seminars. We also have seminars that are open for our students from other faculties from the university. For example, in the next semester, we have a seminar on critical approaches to the Anthropocene from the geography department. We have a seminar from the history department on the Israel-Palestine conflict. We have a seminar on ideology, state ethos, and power in Iran, which is taught by a researcher from one of the leading area studies or the leading area studies institutes in Germany, the GIGA in Hamburg. There's a lecture on international law that you can take. And for example, a seminar on the practice turn in IR for those of you who are sort of interested in that kind of IR research. But this is still not all. We also always in the summer semester have an excursion. And right now it's going to Berlin. That might change in the future, but at the moment I'm offering this excursion. And in Berlin, we're going to visit practitioners, politicians, in different, for example, we have one member of the Bundestag who's going to speak with us, but we're also going to different ministries. But it's not just sort of visiting the ministries and looking at, I don't know, the sites that they might offer, but actually get into dialogue with bureaucrats, practitioners. We also visit several civil society organizations to understand how they work towards peace and security and the kind of power struggles they may face and how they'll deal with them. So very practice-oriented, and the idea is that students can also understand better where they might fit in the future. So this is, but this is still not it. We also have exercises, and here you really see that we have, at least in this summer semester, quite a bit of teaching in German. So I won't go through these, but we do have exercises in every semester. And usually it's more in English. This is a bit imbalanced. But exercises are usually blocked seminars for 2 days where you do a bit more of practical work, simulations and the like. And sometimes they are also taught by practitioners. And yeah, so they're sort of a way to get to know better practical perspectives and practical approaches. So the 2 English ones that we have here is the purposes of arms control, achievements and failures, and regional and international small arms control instruments, just to give you an idea. And next, because I think I also need to speed it up a little bit, I'm just going to go through our study programs. And then get into the application process. So I should also say that we have 2 variants of the MA Peace and Security Studies. There's a 4-semester variant, and there's also a 2-semester variant. This depends on how many ECTS points you have when you apply for the program. If you have 180, which would be typical after a bachelor degree, you can go for the 4-semester variant. If you already have 240, you can apply after admission to for the 2-semester variant and then be done in 1 year. Of course, only if you follow the study plan. So this is sort of an idealized study plan that shows you how you can get through the 4-year period. And it also shows you sort of the different focus areas or modules that we have. We have 2 foundation modules. One is obviously foundations and methods of peace and security research. The other is normative questions in peace and security research. And these foundation modules are extremely important for us also because we are open to students from all disciplines. So you do not need to have a social science degree to study our masters. And in these foundation modules, especially in module 1 and especially in the first semester of module 1, we really try to bring all our students to one level. It's not completely possible depending on their backgrounds, but give them really the basics of social science instruments and understanding that they need, even if they come from natural science or some other area. Then, of course, we have practice-oriented learning, which includes the excursion that I just introduced, but also a mandatory internship of 10 to 12 weeks. When it comes to internships, our cooperation partners are also really interesting. There are quite a lot of them. You can find them on our homepage at IFSH. And we cannot guarantee that you will get an internship with our partners, but there are pretty good chances. And the partners also introduce themselves during the orientation week. That is always at the beginning of the first semester, right? So that you can already learn about the opportunities that you have in the future and already see the people that you will have to contact if you're interested in interning with one of our cooperation partners. Then, of course, there's the security studies module and a new module that we bring. We had a similar one, but this is actually a new makeup of it that we introduce for the coming cohort. So starting next winter semester. And this is a horrible translation in English, compulsory elective area for interdisciplinary perspectives in security and peace. What this means is you have to do courses in this area, but what you do in this area is completely up to you. So we are going to offer different seminars, lectures, exercises from different disciplines in this area, and you can study them. So this might be a lecture in law, a physics seminar that has to do, for example, with arms control issues, etc. And you can study them. And the grades that you acquire from the seminars in this area will appear on your transcript, but they will not be part of your overall study grade. And we do this because we really want to encourage our students to open up and try out things and not be afraid to maybe get a bad grade in a law lecture or something like that. So this is something new that we just recently introduced. And of course, if you decide to do the 2-semester study program, this will be significantly shorter. So you go basically to an immensely shortened version of the long program. Our homepage, and this is the application page with our call for applications that, as I said, is open as of today. And here you find basically everything you need to know about the application phase. As I said, we do need English and German proficiency. And aside from this, there are 3 things that we look at in our applicants. So one is, of course, the grade from your previous program, right? Then secondly, we require a letter of motivation in which we ask you to explain your motivation in detail and with reference to concrete experiences, why you want to study peace and security research and why you want to do it at IFSH. And we also encourage you to please explain any breaks, gaps, or special features in your CV, just so that we can consider it, right? So don't be shy or anything, just explain stuff to us, so that we know your circumstances and can better understand maybe if you do have a career break or some break in your CV and understand where it comes from or other issues. So this is the second, so the grade, then the letter of motivation, and thirdly, we look at practical experience, and we do accept a broad variety of practical experience because peace and security research is an immensely wide field. But also, we're not interested in administrative, tasks. We are interested in situations where you actually topically had to deal with issues related to peace and security. And this can be a whole broad range of stuff. So this can be an internship at the UN, but it can also be voluntary work, for example, in a refugee law clinic and stuff like that. So it can really be broad. And if you're unsure, just submit what you have, and then we'll try to get a picture out of it. Fantastic. And as I said, you find everything else on here. You have to go through, the application does not happen on our website. You go through the Studieninfonetz of the University of Hamburg. It's linked here. And just fill out whatever they give you. And we really look forward to receiving your application. And with this, I think I'm done. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Dr. Menzel, for your presentation. And yeah, there are some questions for you as well. You can already take care of them if you'd like to in the chat. And with that, let me move now to our next speaker. So let us move to Friedensau Adventist University, and Professor Dr. Ulrike Schulz now will talk about MA program in development studies. Let me stop the screen share and invite.
And then I can share the screen.
Yes, please. Perfect.
Is it perfect? Okay.
Yes.
So I want to introduce you to our two study programs, but they're very much related. One is they're both in development studies. One is a full-time on-campus program, and the other one is a part-time online program. Some things are overlapping, but I will explain everything. Before we start I will tell you about the program. I want to show you our campus, which is a bit special, a very particular place is Friedensau. It's in the forest, and you can see that it's a really remote place. But so it's very nice for people who like nature. There's a lot of sport activities. We have a lake where you can go swimming, but there's also it's not so far from Berlin, and it's quite close to Magdeburg. So this is where it's about the campus. This is also another thing. We are a campus university. So if you study, you usually live on campus. So we have accommodation and all kind of facilities. So most of the students, especially in the first semesters, they stay on campus. Why is this not moving? Yeah. It's an old place, kind of old university, and it's also a special place because it's run by the Adventist Church. But it's state recognized since 1990, and it's not only a place for Adventist students. Everybody can study and come, and everybody's welcomed in the university. In English, we have in our faculty, the School of Social Science. On our school, we have three different programs in English, and I will talk about the 2 master programs. We also are going to start a Bachelor in International Social Work, which we will present in another webinar sometime later. As I said, our Development Studies program is a full-time program on campus, and it's supposed to prepare you to work in the field of development cooperation and humanitarian aid. At the moment, we have about 90 students in the master program from 18 countries, and you can see it's a real multicultural, multinational, multi-religious place where you can meet many different people and live together with them. You do not just study, but you also live on campus and share many, many things with them. Our focus is on development studies and on issues of global justice. So it's a bit broader than the other programs you heard about. We also have, for instance, a course on social protection, but it's a bit broader, and you are going to specialize within your studies. You all do an internship for 2 months. We also help you to connect you to places. We have a lot of NGOs in many, many different countries of the Global South, and many students go to the Global South to do their internship. But we also have some partners in Germany, and some people opt also for doing a kind of a humanitarian organization in Germany. But this is a wide variety of internship placements. But I think what is a bit special about our program is that you not just be prepared for the practical field of development study, but we are also very focused on research. So somehow students also specialize a little bit within the 2 years. And we have a focus on research methods, for instance. We have a lot of small workshops and guest lecturers. We have PhD students who link to us, who come and teach. So students also get this environment of an academic institution. And many of our alumni also got interested in doing a PhD. I think what's important for students also to know, for people who would like to apply, that we have this kind of approach that you do quantitative and qualitative methods. I think this is also one of our strengths, that you can do both, and also can be able to apply both of these fields after you did your master. Just to see shortly the module plan. So in the first semester, we also have an introduction module with academic writing, and we also get a kind of a preparation in rhetorics and presentation skills. We have a big module where you are introduced in development studies, social research methods, quantitative and quality. You can see it here on the screen. I think what is also very important is in the third semester, we do a project planning seminar, and where you do some field trip and do a practical exercise. Usually we go to Eastern European countries. This year, the group of students going to Croatia. Last year, they were in Serbia. So you are doing a kind of a needs assessment and do project planning. So you can really do the practical exercise. You see there are many electives. And so now, since last year, you can also select a concentration, or you have to select a field of concentration. You do certain electives in this field. A particular number of credit points you have to do in this field, and you also do your master thesis and later in this field. So we have migration, displacement, and development. We could also have mobility studies. It is migration and development, but we also do something about, we also have a kind of expertise in refugee studies. We have one concentration in gender and development, and intersectional and development, and offer electives for this, and you can also specialize in this field. And the last one is sustainability and resource use. And we also have this issue of land tenure, about agriculture and climate change. We have a colleague who works on the commons. So we have a kind of all these 3 concentrations you can select. But we also have other electives from different fields. So you are not just doing this field, but you can also select some of the other fields. For instance, also have 2 more practical courses where you learn how to apply some methods in the field of development cooperation, like disaster response, monitoring, evaluation. So you can select according to your interests, not only the concentration, but you can also focus more on the academic side of development studies or more on the practical side of development studies. Now, coming to the admission for the full-time master, you need a bachelor degree in social science, humanities, or other related fields. Sometimes we have students that don't have a bachelor in this field, but they worked in an NGO for some time. So you can also apply for this and present this in your motivation letter. So sometimes we also admit students who don't have this bachelor in this field, but in another field, but have professional experience. You need an English proficiency test. There's a certain, I think it's a number of points. It's maybe similar to C1 or between B2 and C1. But you can also apply if your bachelor degree was taught in English. We are 120 credit master. It takes 2 years. The intake is in winter semester. We are private universities, so this is one of our issues, that you have to pay fees for the semester. We have scholarships, different types of scholarships. I think if you apply, you can ask for it. We have an entrance scholarship where we pay for your first semester from the university, but we also connected to other scholarships from the Adventist NGO. But also we have on campus, if you're already a student, you can get other scholarships for like the 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥 and things like this. The application deadline for the winter semester, if you need a visa, is March 31st, like in other programs also. If you don't need a visa, you can also apply until the end of July. So now maybe also to show our profile a little bit more, that about the internship, I think it's very important and crucial, not only for the studies, but also for your perspectives after the studies. So we have different types of internship. You can do it, you can just go to the NGOs in the Global South and do the implementation office, but you can also go to an NGO in Germany and learn about the side of the donors. But we have a lot of different organizations, just to see what people also do for their master thesis. I just put some topics which were done recently. So we have a field of different topics and the issues researched on in our master thesis, and this is really very important for us. The students work there, and most of the students do their own empirical research. And even many students do qualitative research. Maybe to show you how our alumni, what happens to them. There's a big variety of things they do, but a big group goes back to works in NGOs, either in their home countries, or some of them also work for international NGOs, and some of them work for UN organizations. We have this nice thing that people from the Global South become from an African country become expatriates in another African country, or we have now a student from Myanmar who has been an expatriate in Sudan. So we have this kind of stories. We also have academic careers, as I said. We have some PhD students, and 2 of our lecturers now, they are alumni from the program. They did their PhD in Germany, and they work now in our universities as lecturers. But in any pod, people go to different fields, and the master also helps them to build up the capacities in a more general way. So we also have people who work more in companies, on tourism and business, and some people who decide to stay in Germany and want to start working here. They also work in the social work field. Now we also have this very similar program online. And it's not only online, it's also part-time. So we think people who are all working in the field of development maybe for 6 semesters, and they want to keep on working, they want to professionalize themselves, they want to upgrade themselves, they want to develop their career, they can do a part-time development studies program online, and it takes 6 semesters. So for this application, you, additionally to the other requirements I was already mentioning, you need a kind of an experience in the field. Yeah, so you have to apply with this experience. You have to show that you worked in an NGO, you're still working in one for a certain time, and then we see if you can, because this is really, there's no internship in this program, so we expect students to have some experience already. So we are going to, on the one time, to give them more practical competencies. Some people start working in NGO without studying this field, but also maybe to give them the possibility to reflect about their work. So you can go there and reflect with your colleagues what you experience, work, the challenges of work, the critical things which happens in our field. I think that's also a kind of a good experience. Generally, for both programs, which is very nice that you are going to be studying a very diverse group. There are many from all over the world. Like I think the first presentation from the social protection master, it's a bit similar for us. There are trends. Some years we have a lot of people from Ghana. Another year we have a lot of students from Myanmar. So they're kind of different groups, but generally it's a very diverse program. In the MR development studies online, there's a similar topics, but we don't have these concentrations, and so you are not doing an internship. Otherwise, I think the curricula is very similar. So it's a kind of courses we also do in the full-time master. Okay, so this is another picture from our university, from the campus, and from our students. And I think you can find everything on the website. You can apply now. The application is open. And if you have any questions, you can also my email address is also on the email on the website. So if you want to have a question about the content of the program, about the perspectives, what you can do professionally, you can ask me. Otherwise, our admission office is open for questions. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Professor. And yeah, let us now move to our last presentation for today, and then we'll have a short also session for the Q&A, live Q&A. And now we are moving to more or less to the geographical center of Germany, University of Erfurt, and we'll talk about public policy program. So let me invite our guest to take the floor.
Yes, thank you so much, Georgie. Thanks everyone for these interesting presentations, and thanks to the audience for watching and for listening. Yes, I just want to seize the opportunity to present not only our Master of Public Policy program, but also some people with me, which would be the next slide already. With us today is Professor Andreas Goldthau, who is also the director of our school, of the Brand School, and the Franz Haniel Professor for Public Policy. Also with us is Lois 𝘱𝘢𝘳𝘕, not only a current student, but also the recently elected new president of our student government. Hi, Lois. And my colleague, Andrés Alberto Gallo, who does marketing and public relations here at the Brand School. And last but not least, myself, I'm Florian Heinze, and I'm responsible for admissions and for student recruitment. And with that being said, I would hand over to Andreas Goldthau for some introductory words.
Well, hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. It's great to talk to you and to present a little bit what we're doing at the school. I guess the key questions that some of you may be asking, what is it that we're talking about? What is public policy? And if you look at standard textbooks, in the end, the answer is, well, it is what governments choose to do or not to do. But that's not very satisfactory. So what we think at our school, and that's what we also try and do in our program, we essentially think about public policy as something where we study how to produce public goods or how to prevent public bads, right? And if you think about public goods, that could be a lot of things. For instance, safe spaces in a city, public safety. That's a classic public good. The market would not provide for it. If you think about public bads, well, that could be, for instance, greenhouse gas emissions, right? And by extension, climate change. Now, if you think about this as something that's at the core of public policy, then the question is, what are the actors that produce public goods or prevent public bads? And the answer is, well, that can be many actors. I mean, a classic actor producing a public good is a government. But there can be a lot more. It could be local administration who, for the sake of the argument, put in place police for the sake of producing public safety. But we can also think about companies. For example, if companies decide to green their value chain and their supply chain, they foster the social cause of sustainability, or of fostering an environmental or fighting environmental degradation. And that means essentially private actors can produce public goods as well, or prevent public bads. We can go all the way down to social entrepreneurs, essentially businesses built around the idea of public impact, right? And with that, public policy is something that really happens on all levels. It happens on the international level, say, going back to the climate change conundrum, the UNFCCC, the UN body dealing with climate change. It could be transnational actors. That's where we're talking mainly about corporations, but also policy networks. But it can all the way go down to local administration, street level bureaucrats, frontline policy workers, people who essentially implement policies that others have decided on. And that's essentially what we're interested in at the school, and that's how we study public policy at the Brand School. Now, one word about the Brand School. What is the school? The school essentially is a classic grad school. It is a school where people come to us with a bachelor's, broadly in the social sciences, but also beyond. We have people literally from all academic fields. And they come to us mainly for two reasons. One, because they want to upskill. Second, they want to move sector. And with that in mind, our program essentially tries to kind of offer a broad education, which is very interdisciplinary, so that everyone can essentially do what they think is important to them when it comes to upskilling and when it comes to possibly moving sectors later on. We're Germany's oldest public policy school. Now, by American standards, is not very old. We're knocking on 20 odd years. But the idea of public policy as a field of education didn't come to Europe until the turn of the millennium. And we were the first movers. I think we developed a pretty good track record in doing what we're doing. But before I talk too long, I'd just like to hand over to my colleagues who will walk you through the program and everything else it does. Thank you so much for joining in today.
Thanks, Andreas. And then I would hand over to Andres and to Lois.
Thank you. Well, the MPP, the Masters in Public Policy, it's a 2-year full-time program in English, earning a total of 120 credit points. There are 3 core modules, which are policy analysis, public administration and management, and methods. We have 4 specialization models to choose from during the Masters, which are in non-profit management and social entrepreneurship, international and global public policy, development and socioeconomic policies, and conflict studies and management. During the Masters, we get to choose 2 specialization models that we want to follow or pursue, along with the 3 core models. We have practical training models, which is why, to be honest, I'm also an alumni. I studied the MPP. So for me, one of the things that I liked the most about the program was that it was so practice oriented. Personally, I'm not so much into academia. So for me, it was very important to have a program where I would be able to apply what I'm learning into the real world, which is why I really like the MPP. We have really good internships where we participate in project groups in our 3rd semester. We have a language model, which I believe is one of the really good things about the program. But it's not necessary to speak German when you apply. Like the entire program is in English, but the school does offer German classes because it's a requirement to get up to level A2, but then you can still pursue more classes. You can keep studying German, and if you already speak German, you can already apply for other language models, which is the school offers languages from Arab to Russian to Chinese, French, everything. So it's a really good asset. We have a distinguished international faculty with really good professors who have each focused on very good areas in public policy, which means that if you're interested in energy, if you're interested in sustainability studies, in migration, you would be able to go further and pursue more of a career in this topic through your professors and through your fellow students. And we have academic exchange semesters as well that you are offered to do, for example, with our partner universities, most recently Central European University in Vienna. So you also get to experience another different setting.
Yeah, so like Andrea said, our program is a 2-year program, full-time program divided into 4 semesters. The first and second semesters are mainly core courses plus the specializations. Between the end of the second semester and beginning of the third semester, we have our internship period. Normally, the third semester you only have 2 core courses plus our project group that Andrea mentioned, and then the fourth semester is mainly for our master's thesis and the colloquium.
Yeah, so just to highlight it again, we do have the 8 core models that you take as part of the policy analysis, public administration, and methods models. Yeah. But then we also take electives, which are focused on the 2 of the 4 specializations that you chose. Yeah. And now about the school. We're located in Erfurt. We have, I would say, a lot to say, like from personal experience.
Yeah, definitely.
First of all, campus is very vibrant. It's different from other campuses in Germany because usually they're all spread out and throughout the city. With their faculties have different buildings, but in this case, Uni Erfurt.
Yeah, you have everything on campus. Everything. It's the classrooms, the buildings, the places where we stay, the dorms are all on campus, so we can reach everything very much easily. We have one of the biggest libraries on campus, so that's really a good thing. The Willy Brandt School building also, it's really a good place to be where we are right now. Yeah. There are shared rooms, working rooms, meeting rooms where we can all meet and work on our project, etc.
It's a very vibrant campus. Student government is always organizing different events and activities, which is really interesting. Erfurt is very centrally located as well. So like we mentioned at the beginning, it's right in the middle of Germany. So you have everything really accessible. We are so close to Frankfurt, Berlin, Munich, Nuremberg. Anywhere you want to reach, you can reach it really quick, 1.5 hours to 2 hours. And also the international and diverse student body.
Yeah, we have right now our batch is 42 students from 25 different countries. So it's very, very, very various from different parts of the world, basically every continent. And we are a very active student government. As Andrea said, we are always organizing activities. The city is very welcoming. I remember when we arrived last year, October, the city administration organized a tour for us, took us around, showed us the city, told us a little bit about the story. In summer, there's always activities going on. With the semester fee, you have basically free transportation, and also that you have access to free museums, cultural activities, and if it's not free, you're definitely going to have like a discount as a student. So that's definitely a plus. When you're in the city, you're exploring not only in Erfurt, but in all the Thuringian states. So that's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, in my case, we were 58 students from 30 different countries, which is really interesting when, for example, when you come from my country and you don't have, you're not exposed to that many different cultures and that many different backgrounds. It's really good. Florian is also going to mention later on, for example, how one of the requirements is to have experience already in the field, which means means that you get to learn a lot from your fellow students as well, because you get to talk with a lot of people from very different backgrounds and very different experiences who bring a lot to the table. Like, just to go back quickly, Erfurt is a beautiful city. It's very safe. And there's so much to do. You get like the feeling, it's a small city, but then you get to experience like everything. Like you have the perks from living in a small city and the perks from living in a big one, because you have access to everything. It's also very affordable. I wanted to mention that. That's really important, I would say. It's a very affordable city with very affordable housing and really easy to, it's very good to live here.
So currently the average age of our students is 26. There are currently 114 students enrolled at the Brown School, 58% of which are female and 42% which are men. And since 2004, more than 770 students have graduated from the Brown School.
Then we say, like, making the most of the program while you're here. It's not only about your studies. It's all like there's so much that you get to live, so much that you get to acquire once you're here. For example, you build a network, your network during your program. Like I mentioned before, you get to it's not a very big ratio compared like professors to student. So you get to have a very personal approach with your professors. You get to learn a lot from them and also network through them. You get to experience a lot also through your fellow students who are, like I mentioned, bringing a lot of expertise and have a lot of connections. And I mean, you get to explore and focus on what you really want during the program. In my case, for example, during the MPP, I got to explore so many different types of courses. So I took courses on digitalization, I took on peace and conflict, I took on AI and migration. And it was really interesting that in the end, I focused on what I really liked, and now I'm focusing on migration. And through my professors, I was able to go more into this world, let's say, or focus more on this area. You get to improve your soft skills, which
definitely. I mean, in class, all of us are from, as I said, different countries. So also since the beginning, you work in groups, you work in teams, and that really helps in, developing your soft skills right from the beginning. From the start of our first semester, you get to work with other students which have different perspectives, different background, different cultural heritages, and all of us, you come together, you're able to develop various skills, especially your soft skills in communication, negotiation, building a team, working in groups. So that's definitely a plus.
You get to learn also outside the classroom, which is very important. Like I mentioned before, you get to apply what you're learning in the class outside. So through group projects and through excursions and working with different projects. Like right now, there's one of our professors who was heading a project on everyday peace and conflict, and it's very interesting that it started like as a project for their third semester, and now it's going on, receiving grants. There's also the Brand School Social Impact Lab, which Lois is part of.
Yeah, definitely. I took in my first semester the social entrepreneurship class, and not only we got to develop our social business ideas, but we had to present it to a panel of experts with a lot of expertise, a lot of funds, a lot of connections. And in the end, not only we present to this panel, but we're able to apply to an actual accelerator program. And that gives us the incentive to not only come up with a social enterprise idea, but also take it out there and test it and make a real impact after the program or during the program also.
Yeah. So you have a say also when it comes to in the school through student government. You have access to the bulletin blog. You have access to the podcast, which Lois is also a part of the team. So you get to also have a platform for yourself for your ideas, your research, your findings.
And also, one thing I like is that there's room for feedback. You get to give feedback after the classes, how the program is, how it can be improved. And as Andres was saying, the podcast team, the bulletin team, these are all activities or organizations that you can be part of that can enhance your experience as you are at the Brown School.
Yeah. So it's not just about the classes. There's so much more to do here, and so much that where you're able to apply your skills, learn from each other, and have just an absolute great experience, and see the world from another perspective through your fellow students and through your professors as well. With that, I think that we leave it over to Florian really quick for admissions.
Yes, I would ask Georgie how much time we have left. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? So I
let's
can
say
adapt.
let's say 2 minutes.
Okay, and then I make this quick. I mean, all this information is on our website, and this has been recorded, so you can watch it afterwards, hopefully. So I would say admission requirements are quite similar to those of the other programs. What's different, as Andres already mentioned, is the professional work experience. We demand a minimum of 1 year professional work experience because our program is not designed or conceived as a consecutive master's program, meaning that usually for our program, you will have studied something, then left university in order to pursue a career, and then come back to university for your MPP, your Master of Public Policy. That's why we require 1 year of work experience. We require a first degree with a minimum of 3 years of 6 semesters, ideally in subjects from social sciences, economics, law, but also some wildcards we do accept, and we have a diverse student body in that sense too. And English is C1 level minimum, which is pretty standard, I think, for all the program requirements we heard. And most importantly, what you need is you have to bring a pronounced interest in solving political or policy problems to the table, right? That has to be your drive, and strong analytical skills as well. Yes, so that's to the admission requirements quickly, and then how to apply. Our online application portal is currently open. We have a priority deadline by the end of February, so within 2 weeks, which means if you apply now, which we strongly recommend, you will have the result, the outcome in the course of March or early April, which leaves you with much time to plan ahead, to get the visa and so on. And speaking of visa, the deadline for everyone who has to apply for a visa before or prior to arrival in Germany should apply before April 30. And then everyone who does not require a visa before entering Germany can apply up to September 1st, which is usually EU nationals, but like everyone who doesn't need a visa. Yes. And last but not least, that's where you can find us. We're everywhere. And yeah, thanks for your time. Thanks for your attention. And thanks, 𝘱𝘢, for inviting us. Thanks to my co-hosts as well. Sorry.
So yeah, many thanks from my side as well for wonderful presentation. And also thanks to everybody for presentations and so for being active in the Q&A. So without you, we would not clean the board, that's for sure. Now we have a little time left for some general questions, which I would like to ask. So this is my plan. As you answered all of the questions, basically, let me now ask you, everyone. So if you would like to turn on your cameras now, you're welcome. If you don't want, please don't do it. So 3 general questions for everyone. Here now I see a question regarding the dormitories. So the question is, how hard is it to find spot in student dormitories in your towns/cities? As Darlene already answered this question, maybe I will start with her to voice it up for everyone, and then we'll move to others as well. Please, Darlene.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can only repeat what's already been written. I think in every major student city, it's a challenge. Definitely a challenge to find accommodation. In most cities, the so-called 𝘗𝘀𝘪𝘥, which is a student organization that organizes a lot of scholarships as well and events, etc., and also funding opportunities. They, at least in Bonn, provide housing opportunities, and all of the students, especially international students, when they rock up with their suitcases, somebody had the pity to just give them an apartment. It has always worked out. We've not had a single student who couldn't find an accommodation. But in all honesty, it is difficult, and it costs a lot of our students a lot of nerves. And I see a lot of nodding, so it's probably similar in other cities as well.
Thanks for the honesty. That's always appreciated. It's good to know what you should expect. Now, question from Friedensau, maybe the same question. What would you say?
It's a bit different in Friedensau because we are a campus university. So for all our students, we have accommodation. And that's why it's a bit easier. It's also not so costly. It costs maybe 200 euros or something for a room, or 250. You can also get quite good accommodation surrounding the villages and a small town called Burg. But it's a rural area. So if you want to live in Magdeburg, it's a bit more difficult, but it's still easier than in Berlin. But I think the difference is that we have the student accommodation on campus.
Okay,
That's
great.
maybe something.
Perfect. Thank you. Hamburg, Dr. Menzel?
Yeah, it's not easy to find accommodation in Hamburg. If I said anything else, I would be lying. But we do also have student accommodation, and at least for this semester, we also have an exchange program, and we did manage to find accommodation at the student dormitory for all of them. So it is possible, but you do have to apply on time. So for example, we usually make our decisions in late May and then get back to applicants in early June. And if you were then planning to come to us for the winter semester, you would have to get in contact with the relevant office of at the university, I think by beginning of July at the latest. So you do have to plan ahead and apply, but it's possible, but there's no guarantee that it can work. And we got really lucky this semester, but it is a struggle.
Okay, great. Another thank you for honesty. And yeah, now Willy Brandt School.
Yes, I would just answer it generally and then ask our current and former student as well for the actual experience.
Yes.
So we are a campus university as well. And I've been working with the Brandt School since 2017. And all international students for the Brandt School who applied for student housing got a room. Maybe not always the room they actually applied for, but maybe another one. But so nobody was left behind. And also I would tend to say that the situation in Erfurt for private accommodation is tense, but not remotely as tense as Hamburg, for example, if we want to draw a fair or unfair comparison. Yeah, but Andres and Lois, what were your experiences?
My experience was very positive. As Florian said, actually the administration will guide you through, the steps to take in order to apply for student accommodation. And my experience has been very positive. I was, as soon as I applied, once the application period was ended, I got my room. I was given my keys. Everything was okay. So I actually had a really, even in my batch, we almost all got accommodation, and those people who are not in the student accommodation is because they chose not to be in the student accommodation and they are in private accommodation. So that's definitely possible if you're looking for a private accommodation. Yeah,
same for me. I applied for student housing through the university. I got my room, like the one that I applied for, and I lived there during the entire duration of my master's degree. And like we mentioned before, it's right here on campus, so it's really nice.
Cool, great. Darlene, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, just a quick addition. We usually provide quite a comprehensive welcome package, which also includes a lot of addresses for private housing. And because we've now been running the program for more than 10 years, there's also been a lot of alumni that still live in the region, or we hand over rooms from one batch to the next. So there's always a little bit of exchange between the students and alumni of the program.
Okay, perfect. Great. Very short insight from my side as well. I also am a former foreign student in Germany, and my suggestion would be for you, dear attendees, apply as early as possible, as it was already voiced several times. As soon as you get admission, I applied the same in an hour as soon as I got an admission, and I was lucky to get the room. So of course it depends on the city and the setting, of course. Okay, great. Let me ask two more questions. Very briefly, we could address them and then we could call it a day. There was also one question that I would like to hear answers from everyone. So the question was, when your university certificate is not ready yet, but your transcript is ready, can you still apply and provide the final diploma a bit later? Okay, so yeah, I see many nodings. Let me start with Willy Brandt School. Just, you can also ask.
So the short answer is yes, you would get
Perfect.
conditional admission and then final admission once everything is ready. But you can also already apply for visa with the conditional admission.
Yeah, in our university also, but there's a certain point in the application, but maybe at the very end you need it. I'm not, but in the beginning you can apply without it.
Okay, perfect.
And get admitted without it. But then there's some embassies and some places, they're difficult. Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for the insight. It's valuable. And I saw from Darlene and Dr. Menzel also thumbs up, which means that, yeah, you can do it. Perfect. And last question for today I noted is, there was a question regarding gap in education. I remember exactly that person asked, I had my undergraduate 7 years ago. Will it be a problem during the application or maybe for the scholarships? Dr. Menzel, what would you say?
Not at all for the application. We have that a lot. Also, people who work and then go back to study, not a problem at all. For scholarships, maybe, I don't know, might be.
Great, thank you. Professor Schulz?
For the application, yes, it's not a problem at all. For scholarships, depends a little bit. If you did something in the field of development or something, and you have a very good result in your bachelor degree, even if it's 7 or 8 years ago or 10 years ago, but you worked in this field, you are even a good candidate for a scholarship. It depends a little bit on your background, what you did in this 7 years or 8 years.
True. Okay, Darlene?
For HPS, the Social Protection Program, it's not a problem for general admission, but if you apply for the DAD scholarship, the German Academic Exchange Service scholarship, that is a problem because they only accept if you've done the degree, I think within the past 5 years. Don't name me down on this, but I think it's 5 years. There's definitely a time horizon bound to this. We've talked to them numerous times, but it just seems to be a hard criteria that they apply.
Yeah, true.
It's not from our side, for sure.
Yeah, and dear attendees, I'm also a DAD scholarship winner, so that was also a condition, but some students could not apply. However, please take a look at it, dive deeper into it, because there are some conditions, some good reasons why you had so much time, and then they are quite low. They might still give you an opportunity. And in Willy Brandt School?
Well, maybe I can take this. Oh, sorry.
Okay, sorry. No.
Right. No, look, I think the short answer is you're precisely whom we want. I mean, if you have work experience, you got a tremendous wealth of expertise that you bring to the table and to the program. And so I would encourage you to apply. We have people who come to us with from 1 year to 12 years of work experience. And that's precisely what a professional program is all about. So to the contrary, it's not an impediment. It is exactly what we would like to see and enrich our program. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Professor, for your insight as well. That being said, first of all, dear attendees, so I put in the link in the chat. If you'd like to give us suggestions for other further webinars or give feedback for this one, please do so. The links are in the chat for Facebook and Google. And thank you very, very much to our speakers. Wonderful presentations, amazing Q&A rounds within the chat, also live. That was fantastic. Dear attendees, you are fantastic as well. Thanks for joining us, and for so many questions, on to the point questions. That's always a pleasure when I read these kind of questions that are really, I understand that people know what they're talking about. That's always a joy. And yeah, I wish you very good luck with your applications. Hopefully you will end up at your desired program and university. And I hope to see you on our future webinars as well. Take care and bye-bye.